Hey, what's going on, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics with another haul video here. This is going to be, again, my always favorite, the collectible shows I hit up, my absolute favorite dealer. This is not one that I frequent often. He travels and does a lot of shows all over New England. So there's one he does that happens once or twice a year, and I usually end up having to take some PTO time and drive a little bit to get there. And I always get there first thing, of course. So got there early. They were still unpacking. I helped them set up their table and everything, get everything going, and then I get to kind of dig right in. So let's jump in with the dollar books. I didn't spend a ton of time digging in the dollar bins this time. He's just got so much. It's. I mean, you could spend the day. It's like a 3 day show. I could spend 3 days going through everything, and keep finding more. So did a quick pass through the dollar bin. So we'll start off with Marvel Tales number 223. I know, big surprise. Marvel Tales McFarlane covers. This one I absolutely love. Uh, Not in great shape, but again, dollar bin, couldn't leave it. Great McFarlane stuff. So this one I didn't have. 225 newsstand copy, so I was glad to find one I didn't have already. I always seem to keep finding the same one. So, and last one, I'm pretty positive I do have this one. 238. So I think 223, 225, kind of mid grade, fine, very fine. Could be cleaned up a little, but they're not pricey books, so I probably won't bother. This one's definitely closer to the near mint range. So, as always, psyched to find the Marvel Tales McFarlane covers. Speaking of McFarlane, psyched to find this in the dollar bin. This is Infinity Inc. number 14. So I am pretty positive, anyways, that this is. Whoops, sorry, fiddling with the camera here a little. McFarlane's first work on DC. So I have a lot of the Infinity Inc. run. I was missing this, and this is in really good shape as well. Probably very fine near mint, something like that. So psyched to find that. I think I am near completing the McFarlane run on that. Also grabbed this. I don't know why I always want these, but this is New Mutants 100, first X Force, but this is the third print. So I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the X Force and New Mutants 87, those second and third print, um, just always wanted copies of them. I'm not going to spend money on them, so just kind of wait till I find them in a dollar bin, and I did find this one. So glad to have that. I think it was probably very fine range. His dollar bin. Some of them are boarded, some of them are bagged and boarded. Some of them are just bags, some of them are loose. So hit or miss. These I was surprised to find because these can definitely be pricey, but psyched to have more copies. Infinity Gauntlet number 2. Great George Perez covers, obviously. Classic Marvel, what is this, 90s? Early 90s? 89, 90? I can't remember when this came out, but obviously I read this one as a kid, so psyched to find it. 2, 3, and 5, all in pretty good shape. Really, again, surprised to find anything Infinity Gauntlet in the dollar bins anymore. I mean, these are typically wall books. These are all in good shape. Uh, Jim Starlin's story, Ron Lim interiors, and George Perez covers. Just a classic Marvel, summertime series. I think this came out in the summer. For whatever reason, I remember picking this up in the summertime. So, yeah, surprising to find those. Didn't find number 1, of course, but happy with those. Also found this. Miss Marvel number 2. I think this is just mid grade. So this is the origin of Miss Marvel. Yeah, I have this probably fine, very fine. Not a huge book, but 10 to 20 bucks, depending on condition, I would say. So good dollar bin find. So, all right, I think that is it for the dollar bin books. So I grabbed again some more Atlas. Nothing super high grade, but this is the Phoenix number 1. Probably again fine range. First appearance in Origin. I think this is one of the few Atlas series that actually lasted 4 issues. This has got, let me see here. We've got Dick Giordano and Sal Amendola on the cover, Sal Amendola interiors, and Jeff Rovin on the story. So that was one I had not found for Atlas. This one I just showed off, but I got another copy. Of course, this one was much cheaper than the one I just got, but again, Iron Jaw number 1, first appearance in Origin. Neil Adams on the cover here. So again, this one's probably VG fine, something like that, fine range, definitely beat up a little. Last Atlas series, The Brute, number 1. Again, first appearance in Origin. Find a very fine range. This is Michael Fleischer on the story. Let me see. Mike Sikowski on the art. And again, a Dick Giordano cover. So, like I said, I have been jumping on the Atlas bandwagon. It seems like most of the number 1s are, first appearance in Origins. I know there's a couple exceptions to that rule, but if I'm finding them less than $10, like I said, I'm trying to spend, a few dollars to maybe $5 to get them. So, that way it's kind of it's a cheap investment. I don't feel too bad if something happens. If I'm dropping $20 on all of these and nothing happens with them, I'm going to be kind of ticked. So that's kind of the threshold I set for myself. So, okay, we got some Wonder Woman books pretty cheap as well. I'm psyched to find this. Wonder Woman number 9. This is the first appearance of Barbara Minerva as the third Cheetah. So I think her first appearance, just Barbara Minerva, is Minerva. I'm totally butchering it. I think that's number 7. So this is high grade. This was cheap. This was only a few bucks. I never read this run as a kid. I didn't read a lot of DC, but for whatever reason, I've been interested in just piecing together this George Perez run from 1 to, I don't know, just the 80s stuff. I definitely dig his art. I love the covers. So I've just been kind of slowly, steadily grabbing these Wonder Woman books as I find them cheap. Again, looking for them on a dollar bins, in collections, things like that. I'm not spending big money on these. So this is in great shape. I think there's some speculation with her maybe on the next Wonder Woman movie. Is it her or Circe maybe? I'm not sure. But again, it was only a few bucks. And it's a good minor key. So happy to get that. Also got some of the later issues in the run. 82 and 83, which are just, I guess, classic Brian Bolland covers. Not personally a huge fan of these covers. I know Brian Bolland covers can command some big money. I've drawn a blank. 72, there's one that is big money, like $100. I'm really not 100% sure why they are so expensive, but that one was not in there. These were in good shape. These were dirt cheap. I mean, these are just in his regular back issues. They weren't in his dollar bin. I don't think he had any boards, so I think he's had these for a long time too, because I always see the same Wonder Woman books at every show. So, I actually looked a few of these up and was, some of them go for pretty decent money. So I grabbed a couple. Again, they're in good shape. I think they're all high, very fine, maybe very fine near mint. And he also had this, which again I see on walls at most shops, number 90. First appearance of Artemis, same as the other ones, Brian Bolland cover. I don't know anything about that character. I just knew it was a key book, and it was dirt cheap. So happy to have that. Okay, I don't typically buy Vampirella, but I do with certain artists. We've got Vampirella Pinup Special number 1, which is a really cool Adam Hughes cover. It actually kind of looks, I don't know why, it doesn't look like Adam Hughes to me initially, obviously with the exception of the AH on the cover. It just looks a little different there, I guess maybe with the facial features, but man, his art is just spectacular. It's the anatomy that looks so actually realistic, like what actual human anatomy looks like, not totally exaggerated comic book anatomy. Well, okay, all right, some of the anatomy is obviously exaggerated, but still great Adam Hughes cover. Early Adam Hughes, obscure Vampirella, Harris Comics. So again, a few bucks. It's not perfect, but for a few dollars, I was definitely not going to leave it behind. So very happy to have that. That's definitely a PC book there. Another copy of New Mutants Annual number 2. This was cheap. It was less than $10, but when I got home, I realized it was actually pretty beat up. Excuse me. But again, I've just been grabbing any of these keys, these X-Men related keys to the Rogue, Psylocke, any female X-Men characters, I just think are definitely worthwhile investments if you don't have them. And if you can get them affordable, of course. I wouldn't go out spending huge money, but if you can get these things pretty cheap, I think they are safe bets. And I do dig the pink cover on this one, even though this one's not in great shape. So newsstand copy as well. But again, it's probably VG fine. I think it's got some creases and stuff like that. So still happy, though, for the price I paid to get another copy. I don't even know. I think I might have 5 or 6 of these now. So, okay. This book, I was surprised. He had this marked as very good. And when I got home, it was in much better shape. So I'm not sure what he saw that I'm missing, or he missed something. But we've got Spider-Woman number 1. So I think this is the origin of Jessica. Is it Jessica Drew? I think it's Jessica Drew, the first Spider-Woman. New costume, which as far as I can tell is just simply her hair is exposed. But to me, this looks like it's high VF plus. It was again cheap, less than $10. So definitely a good buy. I think I have one or two of these. I have one in really good shape, but definitely a cool Bronze Age book. Who knows what's coming? Again, I can see characters like this ending up in the MCU at some point. I think people are now speculating on live action Spider-Verse movies, and you can definitely see versions of Spider-Women showing up. I know there's a ton of them out there in the Marvel comics here. So this is Marv Wolfman on the story. I'm gonna butcher it. Joe Sinnott. I don't know how to say it. Joe Sinnott cover. I think it's Sinnott. And we got Carmen Infantino on the interior art. So cool Bronze Age #1. Great book to pick up if you can get it at a good price. I don't even think in high grade, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's like a $25 book. So pretty affordable if you're into Bronze Age keys. So speaking of Bronze Age keys, I love this series. We got the Wolverine mini series, Frank Miller, of course. Another copy of #4. I got to check. I have this one that I paid, I probably overpaid for a couple years ago because I just wanted this mini series so badly. One of the books I always kind of drooled over as a kid, this miniseries, which was back then, I was not going to be able to pay for these. So I think this was less than $10, and it's probably in the very fine range. So happy to get a copy of that. I definitely have the full run, and I have multiple of #1, including this one. Again, VF range. It was a good price again. I've got probably 4 or 5 from this guy really affordably. Just classic. One of my all-time favorite Frank Miller covers. I love it. I know a lot of people are hit or miss with Frank Miller, and I am as well, but I do absolutely love that cover. So super psyched to get another copy, and on my way to piecing together a second run of that. And we are down to the last two. Okay, we got X-Men #130. Very good shape. I definitely paid for this. It wasn't dirt cheap, but I think it was a good price. This is in the VF range. This is the first appearance of Dazzler. Like I said, I think I was on a kick buying Dazzler books because of the rumor of her being in the Dark Phoenix movie, which I think I didn't see it. What I heard, she's just in it very briefly, and I know that movie did not do well at all. So, but for me, I just don't know what's happening down the line. With MCU movies, this is an awesome cover. I've always loved this cover. Of course, this is John Romita Jr. on the cover. Chris Claremont and John Byrne's story, and John Byrne and Terry Austin interior art. So just an awesome, one of those early Bronze Age, or I guess mid Bronze Age X-Men keys. So fantastic book. I've had it, but mine is really beat up. I think I've recently got a couple of copies, pretty affordable, both in the VF range. So glad to get another copy of that. I think that's probably the best shape one, so that'll probably be my personal copy. And my final book, and this is surprisingly I think this is the lone Silver Age book from the haul, which is definitely unusual because I'm usually targeting the Silver Age stuff. I must have picked them over. So, Fantastic Four #39. I've definitely been on a Fantastic Four kick. I don't believe this is a key at all. Of course, it's classic Stan Lee. Fantastic. This is an absolutely fantastic Kirby cover to me. I love this with Doom looming over the city. It's just phenomenal. The kind of indigo background. I absolutely love this cover. Any of these Doom covers I think are awesome. It's in beat up condition. You can see a big fat sub crease, so it's, somewhere in the very good scale, but it was cheap. It was in the $20 range, something like that. So had to have it. Like I said, I've definitely been buying up anything Fantastic Four, anything X-Men. You just can't go wrong. I mean, especially with the Silver Age. Even if the movies don't pan out or the movies suck, Silver Age to me, Marvel stuff, I'm addicted. I love it. So, as always, guys, if you enjoy it, and I hope you do, I hope you're enjoying the hauls, please like, subscribe, share the video. I'm going to try and get a couple more out this week. Definitely have some more hauls to show off. So, as always, guys, happy hunting out there.